We ordered 8x10 prints from 10 different websites, and in this video we're going to tell you which ones were the best and which ones were not so great. This video is made possible by Fracture. Fracture prints your photos in vivid color directly to glass. It's the picture frame and mount all in one. To get your photo printed on glass, go to fractureme.com and use the coupon code Chelsea or Tony to get 15% off. But you should use the coupon code Chelsea because there's a competition and the guy at Fracture told me that I'm winning. Well, so why change a good thing?
Use the name of the person that you feel like has the most camera trivia stored in their head.
You should use the name of the person that is the cutest.
Or tallest.
And girliest. You can't
Still
win
might
that
win
one.
that one. So let me just say regarding conflict of interest, Fracture does not make 8x10 prints like these that we're reviewing. They make glass prints only. They're very specialized, so they're not included in this competition.
No. That would be biased.
Right.
But they are making this video possible, and they're a good option.
So why not print at home? We definitely tried printing at home for an extended period of time with multiple different printers. Mm-hmm. What I always found was the prints ended up being more expensive because ink for printers is expensive. But also, what's your hit rate on printing at home? Like, don't you have to print everything like 2 or 3 times before you really nail it? Well, the thing is,
I've never had one of those really large, expensive professional printers, but they're thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and they take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
Most of the inks are not archival either, so you'll make a print and you'll finally get it right, and then you'll hang it on your wall, and a year later it'll be all faded. Printing, sending out to an internet service pretty much solves all these problems. The prints are higher quality, they last longer, and you don't have to pay for your screw-ups. So for that reason, we just always send out our stuff. We gave up on printing at home, and that's what I tell most people to do too.
What about 1-hour photo services?
They're terrible, right? They're just always pretty bad.
We didn't include any of those in this review, but we have done them before in a pinch.
Yeah.
And we haven't had much luck.
Right. Well, any 1-hour printing service has the printer on site. So when you go to the Walmart or the pharmacy or whatever, they're just using that little printer there, and it's being run by whoever happens to work there, not some sort of expert. So they don't have the big machinery that makes good quality archival prints. They pretty much look like the prints you'd get out of a bubble jet. Yeah. And they just don't hold up very well. So we don't recommend those either. Instead, we recommend sending out to one of these sites.
Yeah, so the 10 that we reviewed today were Bay Photo, H&H Color Lab, WHCC, Walmart, AdoramaPix, Nation's PhotoLab, Mpix, Pro DPI, Shutterfly, CG Pro Prints.
These are all in the U.S., but if you're outside the U.S., I hope you'll take into consideration the factors that we're looking at and evaluate some of the printers in your own country. But these do all ship throughout the U.S.
We judged each photo on a 10 scale using the following criteria: color, tone, and exposure, clarity, the finish and weight of the photo, packaging, ordering ease, and also the price. So who are the winners? Well, I have to also add that this was a blind test. So when we were looking at the photos and rating them, we didn't know which photo we were rating until we were done.
Right.
We used Mpix for years, and we were really surprised to find out they were the best. We like them, but we hadn't used a bunch of different printing services, so it was a good surprise. So yeah, Mpix, 49 out of 50 points, $2.09. I like the photo so much that I put it in a frame so the top is bent. But the color's great, the paper's a good quality, it's sharp.
And as you're looking at the picture, you can see why we chose this particular picture. It's got a lot of skin tones, which are important in a lot of 8x10 prints, but it also has a really rich dynamic range. Parts of her skin are in bright highlights that are almost white, and then there are just deep, deep shadows. We want to make sure the printer got natural skin tones and covered that complete dynamic range with great contrast.
WHCC came in second place. They had great skin tones. They were also clear. I didn't think they were quite as rich as Mpix, but it was really a close second. 48 out of 50 points.
And like Mpix, their website was also pretty easy to use. And that can be a big factor because some of these websites had really difficult tools to get your pictures actually uploaded.
Yeah, you have to download an uploading tool.
They require separate tools.
One thing I liked about WHCC is that they give you samples of all the different papers, luster and metallic and linen texture. So the next time you want to order with them, if you would like to try something different, you have a good idea of what you're going to like.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So either Mpix or WHCC are great choices in the US. Again, not sponsors here. In third place, we had some strong feelings about these.
DPI. These were free samples. They do put a watermark on them, so you can't use them. But we got 3 free samples. Their packaging was good, and it also came with candy.
You love candy.
They got a little push for the candy. Their prints were pretty good. They came out a little more pink in the skin tones.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't get a perfect score. But I also like that they provided, again, samples of all the different finishes, like specialty pearl and matte. And they also gave you samples of cards so that if you wanted to get them printed for your clients or yourself, you could see examples of what they do. And it looks really beautiful.
And if I can just address a question I know some people are thinking, why would the colors vary from one printing service to another? Because after all, the colors are embedded in your picture, it should be the same. But it doesn't really work that way because you're taking a digital image and then printing it. And it depends on the printer that they use. So these printers will have profiles, and you could theoretically go in and embed it in Lightroom and try to match it up manually. Right. But for the most part, the most practical way to do things is to allow the printing service to adjust your pictures to get the colors perfect. And a good printing service will look at every single picture and use their knowledge of how their printer is working to make sure the colors come out naturally. So you kind of need that person in there making the adjustments. So individual printing services can give you very different results with the same picture.
Speaking of that, next was Bay Photo, and I had a bit of a problem with their color. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here. This video is a bit hard to make for that reason. It's difficult to show the prints. Bay Photo, the hair has green tones in it instead of golden or even orange or warm tones. It has some green, cooler tones. Everything else was okay. It was sharp. The paper quality was good, but the colors were off. So that's why they lost some points. But again, not terrible. 47 out of 50 points. It's $1.79. It's a bargain.
Bayphoto also has a really difficult to use website.
Yeah.
Now, Bayphoto uses, most of the time you'll have to use a separate uploader tool, like a Windows app that runs. And they have an incredible number of different types of prints that you can make, which is nice for those of you who want to make some creative print. You can get it printed on wood, or like balsa, or like 100 different formats and different shapes and big sizes. And for that reason, I do regularly use Bayphoto when I need to make a specialty like fine art gallery print. Right. They have just great options, but the website is a pain to use. It's way easier to use Mpix.
I didn't take away too many points for the finicky uploader just because once you have it, it's kind of a barrier to entry, but if it's something that, if you like their services, then it's not going to be a deal breaker.
Yeah, once you've done it twice, you'll have it work.
Yeah, so I didn't penalize them too much for that. I really focused more on the quality because I think if you get really good quality, then you're willing to kind of deal with some of those quirky things.
Yeah.
H&H Color Lab also in third place. Again, a color problem. Her skin looks really pink, and it wasn't as clear as the other ones. Let's see. And Nations. The paper quality is thinner, noticeably. Of course, I can't really show that to you, but I can feel that it's a bit flimsier, but it's pretty sharp. The color looks pretty good. It's noticeably not as good as the others, but I think it's good enough. I think if you just got this one alone, you would be happy with it. And now on to our not greats. I don't want to call them losers because we just have one sample, but in this limited experience, we didn't have a very good experience with them. The first one is CG Pro Prints. It's a thicker print. It's very thick and it has more of a texture to it. It makes it look very grainy, and it's pink, warm, and not very sharp. So it lost some points. It's also $8.50 for this one print. And it is thick and I can feel the difference, but it's actually not good for the picture. It lost quality because the paper texture.
Yeah.
AdoramaPix. Look at that color. Let me show you a good one just to show the difference here. But you can you see that, Justin? It is so green. It's just awful. You wouldn't want to put that on your wall. But the paper quality is good and it is sharp. But when the color is that bad, what are you going to do with it? Another one with bad color is Walmart. It's unsharp. It's grainy. The color is terrible. I would not recommend Walmart.
Still better than their 1 hour prints.
And in last place was Shutterfly. This one, not only was the color off, this was an example of good color, this is Shutterfly, but her face is blown out. Detail is lost. It's really pink. They tried to bring up the shadows when they should not have. If they had had a person overlooking this photo, they would have said, no, there were supposed to be deep shadows and not raise them. So it's clear to me that nobody looked at this and saw that their computer just didn't know what to do with the print.
Yeah, you can tell they had some sort of auto exposure system that saw the dark background and tried to bring it up to gray and just overexpose the most important part.
Maybe a different picture would have turned out fine. It seems like, well, the paper's a bit thin and it's not the sharpest one, but our experience wasn't very good. This video, once again, is brought to you by Fracture. Prices start at $18. You can get rectangle or square format. They have free shipping on orders over $100, and also they have a happiness guarantee. So if you get your Fracture print and you don't like it, you can write to them and say, hey, I don't like it, and they'll fix it for you or give you your money back. I've dealt with them. They've been very friendly with me. And yeah, if you want to try Fracture, you can go to fractureme.com and use the coupon code Chelsea.
They come safely packaged and are easy to hang on your walls.
Fracture sent us a sample of one of our pictures and we hung it in our living room. Thank you, Fracture. It looks great. Suggestions. We only reviewed 10 places. You think we're totally wrong. Was Shutterfly actually great, but my picture just didn't get printed in the right way? You think they could do better? Let us know in the comments. Let us know other companies you think would do a better job than Mpix or the other winners.
And if you're outside the US, go ahead and let us know what country you're in and which service you've found to be the best. It'll be helpful to other people watching the video.
If you want to see more videos like these, subscribe to our channel.
We hope this helped and saved you a little bit of frustration. Thanks.